Hello, my adventurous students. Today you're going to learn all the phrases you need to know before traveling to North America. Welcome back to J4S English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. So your bags are packed and you're ready to visit North America. Let's talk about all the phrases that you need, starting with greetings. Now, as a tourist, you're going to be using these greetings when you go to stores, restaurants, or interact with service providers, like when you rent a car or book a tour. You can simply say hello, because for more impersonal interactions, when you don't know the person socially, we just say hello. That's the standard greeting in these situations. You could also say hi there. So add there. Hi there. Hi there. When you go into a restaurant, a store, hi there. Of course, you wouldn't wave. I'm just doing that. I guess you could.
Hi there.
Hello?
Now, time specific, you could say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Don't say good night, because that's what we use before you go to sleep. So after 4 to 6 p.m., you can say good evening. Now, only for morning, native speakers, we drop the good and we just say morning, morning, but we don't say afternoon. You always say good afternoon, good evening, but you can simply say morning, morning. Now, after your greeting, you can state your reason for your visit. So if you're at a restaurant, you can say, hi there, we have a reservation under Forest. Usually the reservations are made under your last name for 7 p.m. You could include the time, but you don't need to because the reservation will have the time. Or you could approach a booth and say, good morning, could you please tell me when the next ferry to Staten Island comes? Notice how I use could you please? That's to sound more polite. Now, don't worry about taking notes because I summarize everything in a free lesson PDF. You can look in the description for the link. How about this one? Excuse me, do you carry sunscreen? Do you carry? You're asking the store if they have. Do you carry sunscreen? Now notice, excuse me. This isn't necessarily a greeting, but it's what we use to get someone's attention. So if the store person is stocking a shelf, you can say, excuse me, and then they will stop what they're doing and look at you. So it's used to get attention. Now, technically, you can say, pardon me, do you carry sunscreen? But pardon me isn't very common in North America in this context. In North America, we use pardon me if we don't understand something. So if someone's talking to me and maybe there's a lot of background noise, I might say, pardon me, to ask them to repeat themselves, but we don't really use it to get someone's attention, so just use excuse me to get someone's attention. Now let's review all the phrases you need if you don't understand someone or if you don't hear them because there's a lot of background noise or maybe they just spoke very quietly. Like I said, pardon me.
Pardon me.
Now you can also say excuse me, but it's more in a questioning tone. Excuse me? Sorry, I didn't catch that. Now you can always say, sorry, English isn't my first language. So you're giving them the information they need to know so they can adjust. Because if you tell a native speaker, oh, sorry, English isn't my first language, they'll naturally just try to speak slower or louder or in a different way to help you understand. And don't be afraid to say, can you repeat that slower, please? The person will not be offended or upset if you say that, so don't be afraid to use it. Or you can say, sorry, I'm not sure what means. That means, or if you know the specific word, you can say, I'm not sure what a transfer means. Can you explain it a different way? Can you give me more information? Can you help me understand? Or simply you can say, sorry, I don't understand. English isn't my first language. And they will naturally know they need to speak slower, louder, or explain it a different way.
Can you repeat that, please?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
As a tourist, you're going to be spending money at stores. So let's talk about the phrases you need. When you go into a store or when you take all of your items to checkout when you're ready to pay, you can just say, hi there, or any of the other greetings. Now, previously, the stores would ask you cash or credit, but this isn't common in North America today. It's assumed you're going to pay with a credit card. So they generally don't ask you about the payment method. They will probably just point at the machine and then you can tap your card.
Cash or credit?
Now there are some street vendors. A street vendor would be a small shop or something that isn't a physical store. It is possible that they only accept cash, but this is becoming less and less common. Basically, everywhere you go in North America, you can pay with your card, even the smallest street vendors, because they have a little device they put on their phones, and then their phone turns into a payment processor and you just tap your card on the phone. So even at very small vendors, you can likely pay with your card, but of course bring a little cash with you. You can ask, how much is this for one item? How much are these for two or more items? Now, after you pay, they might ask you, do you need a bag? Now, they might say, need a bag, or simply bag with a rising intonation to show it's a question. Plastic bags are not used at most stores in North America. They are banned for environmental reasons. So if you need a bag, most likely you have to pay for that bag. Instead of plastic, stores use paper bags, and they're probably about 15 cents per bag. Or you can get a reusable bag, depending on the quality, $1 to $3. A lot of smaller stores, convenience stores, markets, they still use plastic bags, but the bigger stores generally don't. But you can always ask them, can you give me a bag, please? Or I need to buy a bag. Now, sometimes I hear students say, please, I need to buy a bag. And they put please at the beginning of a statement, but that is not common in North America and it sounds a little awkward. So put please at the end. I need to buy a bag, please. Please commonly comes at the beginning when it's the imperative. So you're giving an instruction. Please put the receipt in the bag. Put the receipt in the bag is the instruction, and you can add please at the beginning to sound more polite. You could also add it at the end. After you pay, they might say, do you want a receipt? Again, to try to be more environmental and save paper, they don't automatically print receipts. They might just say, need a receipt, want a receipt, or receipt. You can say, no, that's okay, no thanks, yes please. Now, right before you pay, they might say something really long that you don't understand. They may be asking you for a donation, which is very common. Do you want to donate $1 to the Children's Hospital? They might ask you if you have a points or rewards membership with that store. Or they might ask you if you want to sign up for something like a Walmart MasterCard or a points card or a membership. If you don't understand, just say no thanks. No thanks, because they're probably just trying to give you something additional. Now, if you go into a clothing store or a larger store, they will greet you and they'll ask you if you're looking for something specific. You can say, I'm just looking. I'm just browsing, but in North America, looking is more common. I'm just looking, thanks.
No thanks, I'm just browsing.
Oh, I'm just looking, thanks.
Or if you are looking for something specific, you can say, I'm looking for a small backpack. Where can I find men's socks? Do you carry sunglasses? If you're buying clothing, you can ask, where can I try this on? Where are the fitting rooms, the changing rooms, which is where you try things on. You can also ask them, what's your return policy, to know if the item is returnable or exchangeable. Now let's talk about dining out at restaurants. When you go to a restaurant, you can use your greeting, hello, hi there, good afternoon, table for two, please. Or you can state, we have a reservation under, and then your name, generally just your last name, under Forrest. Or maybe you want to make a reservation. Can we make a reservation? And they'll ask you when or what day, how many people, and what time.
Table for two, please.
Now, if you're staying at the restaurant, you can ask them, do you have any tables outside? Do you have any tables on the patio? So they mean the same thing. The patio or outside is an area that is outside. So you have inside or outside. Outside is on the patio. And if you're inside and you see this really nice table by the window, you can say, can we sit by the window, please? Are there any booths available? So maybe they're putting you at a table with chairs, but you want to sit in a booth. Just ask them, are there any booths available? If you have any allergies, you can tell your server, I'm allergic to shellfish. Or maybe you see an item, a stir fry with chicken, and you want to know, can you make that vegetarian? Can you make that vegan? Can you make that gluten-free? To order, just say, I'll have. I'll have the stir fry with shrimp, please. Alternatively, I'd like the stir fry with shrimp, please, but I'll have is way more common. Now you may want to modify your order. I'll have the stir fry with shrimp, please, but no onions. Hold the onions, without onions. They all mean the same thing. Can you add pickles? So if you want something additional, can you add pickles? Can you make it extra spicy? This is something my husband asks every time. Can you make it extra spicy? Can you put the sauce on the side? So maybe if they put a sauce over top, can you put it on the side?
Sauce on the side again, please.
Just know that modifying your orders is extremely common and accepted in North America. So don't be shy. If you want something specific, just ask, they will do it for you. And don't forget to ask for water, because as a tourist, you need to drink a lot of water. Can you bring us some water, please? They might ask you sparkling or still, bottled. Just say tap water. Tap water is fine. Sometimes the restaurants try to sound more fancy and say house water, but it's the water that comes out of the tap, which is drinkable in all of North America. So if you don't want to pay for water, just say tap water is fine. And know that water is free everywhere you go in North America. You can go into any place and ask for water for free. You might ask them, where are the bathrooms or restrooms? Either word choice is fine. Where are the bathrooms? Where are the restrooms? Just don't say where are the toilets, because we don't use that word for restaurants. Now, if you had a big meal and you didn't finish it all, you can say, can I have a to-go box, please? And they'll bring you a box and you put your leftovers and then you take it with you. Can I have a to-go box, please? Or you can say, can you wrap this up? So they will take your food, put it in a to-go box, and bring it back to you. Can you wrap this up? Can you pack this up? They mean the same thing. If they try to offer you dessert or coffee and you don't want it, say just the check, please. You can say check or bill. Just the check, please. Just the bill, please. Can you bring me the check or bill, please? Or you can simply ask, where do I pay?
Just the check. please.
Where do I pay? It's $25, right?
In North America, tips, gratuity, are rarely added to the bill automatically. So it's your choice to leave it when you pay. There'll be an option on the machine. It's not required, but it is highly expected. And a 10 to 20% tip, depending on the formality of the restaurant and the level of service, is expected. But again, it isn't required. Now, at any restaurant, cafe, or store, you can ask them, do you have Wi-Fi? Or is there Wi-Fi here? And if you know there's Wi-Fi because there's a sign, you can ask them, what's the Wi-Fi password? Now, sometimes the Wi-Fi passwords are just random letters or numbers, and maybe you didn't hear it, you couldn't understand it. You can just give them your phone. Can you put it in for me, please? Can you write it down, please? Can you repeat that slowly, please? Now let's talk about getting around, so how you move from one location to another. You don't really need to know how to ask for directions anymore because your phone has GPS and will tell you exactly where to go. But let me share some common phrases with you. Excuse me, do you know how to get to the Empire State Building? Excuse me, which way is Central Park? Excuse me, does this train go to Central Park? Excuse me, which train will take me to Central Park? And notice I used excuse me for all of them because that is the most common standard in North America to get someone's attention. You could also say, excuse me, do you mind taking our photo? Because that is the one thing that people still ask other people for. Not directions anymore, but excuse me, do you mind? Do you mind taking, with that ing, do you mind taking our photo? Excuse me, could you please take our picture? So you can say photo or picture interchangeably. And as a final tip, before you pack your bags and head to North America, just remember that North America is incredibly diverse, and we interact with non-native English speakers every single day. Every time we leave the house, we go to stores, restaurants, our work environments, our social environments. We interact with non-native English speakers. North Americans in general are friendly, open, and accepting. So don't feel any bit of nervousness or shyness because you have an accent or make grammar mistakes. It will not impact your experience as a tourist. But of course, you do need to be able to communicate in a way that a native speaker understands. And all of these phrases will help you do just that. So make sure you download that free PDF. And if you want me to teach you more phrases that you can use in North America as a tourist, put more phrases, more phrases, more phrases in the comments below. And of course, make sure you like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look for the link in the description. And I have 50 more phrases that you need to know for your everyday speech right here, so watch it right now.